One of the things that people struggle with, that my clients, even me, struggle with, is this idea of comparison. Right? We look at another person, we look at their life, we look at their talents, abilities, whatever, and we compare ourselves to them. And I don't know about you, but pretty much always, when I've compared myself to somebody else, they're high and I'm low. They're awesome and I'm not. And social media doesn't help, right? That we see all these wonderful posts and pictures of people and their children are perfect and their marriage is great and dinner on the table looks amazing and beautiful and they're doing amazing things. And then we look at our lives and go, oh man, the kids are sick and aren't listening and I burnt dinner and things aren't going well at work. But here's the problem. What we often are seeing in somebody else's life is their highlight reel. They're only posting when things are great and awesome, and we don't see behind the scenes. We don't see the burnt dinners and when the kids are not listening and when things go wrong, when the car's in the shop and you're fighting with your spouse and all those types of things. And so we're comparing our everyday life with somebody else's highlight reel. And so, of course, that's not going to look good for us. That's going to cause us to question ourselves and can make us feel bad about ourselves. And then what comes from that is like, oh, here's this person that I should aspire to be like, and I'm going to try to emulate them and live like them and be like them and look like them. But there's a problem with that. You can only be a version of another person. You can't be that person. And the truth of it is, you would be a lousy version of another person. That's just true. You can't be somebody else, and you would be a lousy version of that person. Now, here's what else happens with comparison, right? It distracts us. It's going to distract you. It's going to distract me from living out our lives completely. If we're looking at what somebody else does, and we're going to need to do what they do and do it like them, but maybe that isn't something that we were created for by God. It's not something that brings us joy. It's not something that we're called into. It's going to rob us of our joy. How can you be joyful if you're continuously running after this thing that's out there that you don't even know if it's real or true, but you're taking somebody else's life and trying to make it your own? I mean, that's just going to suck the joy right out of you. And then this is really important. It's going to minimize who God created you to be, who God created us to be. God created us on purpose, with a purpose, with talents and abilities and giftings that are ours. And you take all of those different things, the abilities and talents and passions, and what God has put into you with those things is unique to you, is completely unique to you. That mix, you may have things that look like somebody else's that are aligned with somebody else, but when you take all of those things together, you are incredibly unique. And God has intentionally done that. I want you to pay attention to this scripture in terms of God's creation of you. This is from Psalms 139, starts in chapter 13, and it says, "You made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous, how well I know it." So first I want you to pay attention to the thank you, right? There's this thanks to God of how he created us. That when we put that focus on, oh God, you created me in this way specifically. If we focus on that, there's no room for comparing ourselves to others, nor should we want there to be. Thank you for making me complex. When you think about yourself, when you think about anybody else, there's a complexity to who we are. All of these things that we're created to be and how God created us. And it says, understanding your workmanship is marvelous, how well I know it. How well do you know it? How well do you know the marvelous nature of the workmanship of God in your life and who he created you to be? If you really step back and think about that, it's amazing. All the things that we are and all the things that we're capable of doing in the way in which God has created us. So I want you to consider this whole idea of comparison as something to get out of your life and to put your focus elsewhere. I'd encourage you to focus on finding out who God created you to be. That there are things in your life, there's giftings and talents and abilities and things that you love and that you're passionate about. And when you do them, you have joy and it brings life to your life, light to your life. I would just really encourage you to pull that focus whenever you find yourself doing that comparison thing. Recognize that's problematic, and if you can flip that focus to who you are, who God created you to be, you're going to experience some joy that you haven't had in your life, to understand fully and completely how it is that God made you and what He created you for, and the things that He is going to do through you when you focus on those things. Because it is a great form of worship to thank God for who He created you to be, and eliminate these things that you're not. So I hope that's encouraging to you. Just know that you're not alone in dealing with the struggles with comparison. I know pretty much everybody who does, including me. It's something that I work on and catch myself in that comparison and pull myself back into doing the things that God has for me out of His creation for me. So appreciate you guys watching this. Would love your feedback. Any kind of thoughts that you have, any questions you have, any kind of encouragement that you would have in your own story that might benefit somebody else who is watching this video and reading the replies in this. So thank you. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Pray blessings over your life. That God would bless you, and hope you have an awesome day.